In this video, we shall try to understand encoder. The encoder that we are discussing here is priority encoder. The first point that we have is what it says. The IC 74147 is a decimal to BCD priority encoder. It converts decimal numbers into BCD numbers. And it is called as priority encoder because it gives the priority between the inputs. Simply speaking, an encoder is a IC which will have number of inputs, and depending on which input is activated, a particular pattern of output is available. So this is an encoder. Okay, encoder is a combinational circuit which is having number of inputs. Depending on which input is activated, a particular pattern of output is available at the output. This is what the encoder is all about. Fine. So now we shall try to understand what is this priority encoder. It is the priority encoder that we are discussing here is a IC 74147, and it is a decimal to BCD priority encoder. It converts the decimal number into BCD. Okay, how it converts is very simple. Active low inputs are given to the decimal digits 0 to 9. Active low BCD outputs are available at the output. It has 10 inputs and it has 4 outputs. The truth table is used to find the BCD code for the given decimal number that is been activated. And for example, among input 2 and 5, 5 is given more priority. If I have activated input 2 and input 5, which is given more priority, the higher number is given more priority, and 5 is activated, the output will be available for the input 5. Okay, respective output will be available for the input 5. This is why the name priority encoder. Fine. So coming down to the one more part, that is how it is going to convert your decimal number into BCD number. This is what you need to understand here. Okay, so I have considered two sets of examples. Example number 1, example number 2. Here first I am going to consider 0 as the input. I can give 0 to 9, 0 to 9. Any of the inputs I can activate. Among that, I have considered only two inputs. I have considered 0, I have considered 0, and I have considered 1. Here, when I have this 0, the BCD output is going to be 0 0 0 0, as you can observe in this picture. Yes or no? Now, how it is going to be 0 0 0 0 in the sense, you need to multiply this 0 with the above numbers here. Okay, 0 into 2, 0 into 2 to the power of 3 is 0, 0 into 2 to the power of 2 is 0, 0 into 2 to the power of 1 is 0, 0 into 2 to the power of 0 is a 0. So after multiplying all these numbers, you need to add those numbers. After multiplying these numbers, you need to add those numbers. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, it is going to be equal to 0 only. Fine. Similarly, we shall consider one more input. Let that be 0. Oh, sorry. Let the one more input be 1. For 1, we have the binary coded decimal code as 0001. Fine. So how to understand this, how this becomes the binary code of 1 is what we are going to understand here. So first I have 2 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 3 into 0, 2 to the power of 2 into 0, 2 to the power of 1 into 0, 2 to the power of 0 into 1. Okay, 2 to the power of 0, anything to the power of 0 is always 1. Keep this in your brain. So that is why I have written here 2 to the power of 0 is 1. So 1 into this 1 into 1, it gives me 1, and all other terms whatever that I have, 1 2 3, all these terms gives me what output? It gives me 0 0 0 0. Why it is 0? 2 to the power of 1 into 0, anything into 0 is 0. 2 to the power of 2 into 0, anything into 0 is 0. 2 to the power of 3 into 0, anything into 0 is 0. This is why you get 0 0 0 1. So let me add all these numbers, 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1. So what is the output that I'm going to get? That is your 1. This is how the binary coded decimal is understood. Let us consider one more number from the group. Okay, here we have one more number considered. What is that number? That is 0110. What is the number? I mean, what the answer that it gives you is what we are going to understand here. Yes, here we consider the number 6. The BCD output for this number is going to be 0110. How this gives you the suffice answers are 0, 2 to the power of 3 into 0, that gives me 0, right? 2 to the power of 2 into 0 into 1, that gives me 4. 2 to the power of 2 in the sense 2 into 2 is 4, 4 into 1 is 4. So this is your answer. Then coming down to 2 to the power of 1 into 1 we have, okay, so we have 1, 2 to the power of 1 is multiplied to it, that gives me 2. The answer is 2. And then we have 2 to the power of 0 into 0. Okay, so consider here 2 to the power of 0 into 0 we have, so that gives me 1 into 0. 2 to the power of 0 is 1, 1 into 0, that is 0. Finally we get 0 4 2 0. So finally what shall we do? We shall add all these numbers, 0 plus 4 plus 2 plus 0. So 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. 6 is your answer. When you activate the input which is respect to 6, okay, whichever the input that is respect to 6, with respect to 6, when you activate this 6, what is the code that you are going to get? 0 1 1 0, and this is going to be the output. Okay, and this is how the priority encoder works. If I have activated 5 and 6 at a time, which number is going to get the answer? What the answer for which input is going to be available at the output end? It will be 6 only, because the name priority encoder, the priority encoder gives the priority to the higher input that is been activated, and the input that is to be activated is to be made low. This is the clear explanation of the BCD to binary to BCD priority encoder. And here in this diagram you can just observe the pin diagram of the 74147 IC. Okay, so you have VCC. This diagram is important for putting it into the exam paper, answer paper in the examination. Fine. So here you have VCC, NC. So A3 bar, D3 is input, D2 is input, D1 is input, and D9 is input. A1 bar is the output. A2, you will have one more thing, that is A2 bar, and A3, A1, A2, A3 is available, right? So this will be your A0, and D8, D7, D6, D5, D4, these are all the inputs. So D, it will start from D0. Okay, it will start from D1, D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7, D8, D9. There will be 9 inputs. Okay, so the 9 inputs you can observe over here. Okay, so for all these 9 inputs, the output is going to be carried out.